You're listening to the Afro Chi Podcast, a show for my fellow Black female energy healers and the everyday woman who wants to heal her energy in a creative and holistic way. You'll hear from Black female healers who share their knowledge, gifts, and experiences and enlighten you on how to tap into your powerful Black energy to get the results you need to live an energetically free life. If you're ready to become unstuck, find freedom and peace energetically, stay tuned. I'm your host, Kiera Flipping. All right, I am so excited about getting into this topic today about colon hydrotherapy and why we as Black women need to be more in tune with the energetic connection to our colon. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with the owner of Moya Body Care. She can be found on Instagram at Moya Body Care and online at moyabodycare.com. Today, our guest is Monisha. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, love. Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, so I am so excited about this topic. You and I had some time to talk briefly before this recording, and I shared I'm not sure if women are actually aware of the need to really be in tune with their colon. I'm sure some people may have heard of colon hydrotherapy or colonics or, that whole thing, but do they really know why they're getting this? Are they just relating it to hopefully having an instant weight loss? Are they doing it because they heard celebrities are doing it? But in today's conversation, I really want to talk specifically about the need for Black women to be in tune with their colon and how it's really connected to our mind, body, and spirit, our energy overall. So first of all, thank you so much for giving me your time and just sharing your expertise. So I want to just start off first, if you could just tell us, what is colon hydrotherapy?
Definitely. Thank you for creating this platform that we so desperately need. We don't often have spaces that are safe, non-judgmental, and free of like religion and all that good stuff, where we can just talk about the things that are ailing us and get honest answers without being sold this big, crazy, insane package to make things connect. So this is a beautiful platform for just discussion, which we often are not given. We often have to take it. So that's the first thing about our wellness, is that we have to fight for platforms just to be heard. So this is amazing, beautiful, and I'm completely honored that you even stepped up to the plate. It takes a lot of courage and consistency to create this and move forward with the idea. So thank you. For stepping in your greatness. That's the first thing.
Thank you so much.
Because it gives women like me an opportunity to share what we know, and we're able to connect the dots. So it takes a village, as you know.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely.
So colon hydrotherapy, on its simplest terms, is a way of flowing warm water through your colon by the way of your backside to soften up fecal matter, undigested food, mucus, etc., so that the body can remember to let go of weight. That is basically what it is in its simplest terms. However, as you know, as melanated women, we are so much more than the simplicities of water, right? And even water has depth to it. When you start studying water, you can study water for 20 years and still really not understand what water is, right? So on the simplest terms, colon hydrotherapy helps your body remember. It stimulates the colon to let go. Most women in America, most women of color have so much stress throughout their day, from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep, that unconsciously they are consistently eating more than what they need to be eating, right? And so what happens is that their intake of food is not matching their output of waste. So now we have this distension in the belly area where most people feel it is their stomach. That's not your stomach. Your stomach is literally right underneath your left breast. So the area where you place your hand right over your navel, that's your colon. Right? So outside the gate, right there, people are like, wait, what? That's not my stomach. No, love, that's not your stomach. That is your colon.
Okay.
So when we start talking about distension, gas, constipation, bloating, that's the area that we're talking about.
Okay. Hey Queens, isn't this such a great episode? Be sure to check out the Afro Healers Directory, where you can find healers in your area offering similar services to the guests on today's podcast. If you are a healer, please be sure to join the directory so that Black women can locate your healing services and offerings. To join and view the directory, please visit afroqi.com. Okay, let's jump back into this episode. Okay.
So in the simplest terms, again, colon hydrotherapy is just a very easy, slow process of filling your colon up with water to stimulate it to let go. Most people are walking around dehydrated. They have high levels of caffeine, carbohydrates, sugar, coffee, etc., but no water. So what happens in the colon is that when they start ingesting these foods together collectively with the absence of drinking water, that whole digestion tube from mouth to anus starts to slow down and get very, very sticky.
Okay.
In order for you to have a bowel movement, you need to have moisture. Most women don't drink water. Most women, we reach for a tea, we reach for a coffee, we reach for anything outside of water, right? So when we go to have a bowel movement, there is a very strong odor. It's very dry. So now you have to bear down and push. Now all of a sudden you have hemorrhoids, or there's blood present, or you're sitting for long moments on the toilet. Now you have sciatica issues because you're sitting on the toilet too long.
This is like a ripple effect. Oh my gosh.
Going and going. So
but and could you tell like specifically like why Black women should be concerned about their colon? Like why do we need to really make sure that we're, treating our colon right?
Exactly. So I'm going to start all the way from the beginning with that. When we are in our mother's womb space, we have 11 organ systems that plug into play over the 9-month period that we are in our mother's womb.
Okay.
The first of the 11 organ systems is our nervous system, which houses our brain, our spine, and then the nerves that come off the spine, right? The second is our circulatory system, which includes our veins, heart, and arteries. The second is our digestive system, which is everything from mouth to anus. And then over the next 9 months, all the other organs plug into play. So the very first system that is created, that is the utmost important, is our nervous system out the gate.
Okay.
Most Black women are struggling.
Okay.
Most Black women are tired. Most Black women have not had a break in a while. There's some type of consistent stress. So when you look at the anatomy of our body, our womb space, our colon is directly wrapped around, or our nervous system is directly wrapped around and plugs and digs into our colon and our womb space. Okay. Hence the reason why more Black women have hysterectomies. If that, you see where the connection is going now?
Yes.
Right. So when your nervous system is constantly taxed, it's constantly taxed, and then you're not feeding your body exactly what you need, the number 2 organs that fail are your colon and your uterus, literally. So that's why it's important for us to be super diligent with what we put in our mouth. If we stay with foods that are the color of the rainbow, as natural to its natural state as you can get it, and stay with your water intake, you won't have any issues, and your menstrual cycle will be as light and pleasant as possible.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. So they both go hand in hand, your uterus and your colon, they both work hand in hand with your nervous system. So when I get women on the table, specifically women of color, I get them on the table and their bellies are distended, they're very hard, they're very bloated. And I can already tell that they're very emotional, like something is going on in their life. Hence the reason why they're here, right? I get them on the table, I place my hands on their abdominal area, and we start dialoguing about what you want to let go. That's one of my questions when we start the colonic session. What would you like to dedicate this colonic to? And it completely throws women off. They're like, what? What I want to dedicate it to? Yes. Everything has an intention.
Yeah.
So your intention with this colonic is, what would you like? So they go into deep, like immediate, they go into deep dialogue with themselves. Like, I've never been asked that question. What does that mean? So you have all these trickle effects of questions, and then they realize that their self-care is very low because they have been putting themselves last, because the question is for you. It's not for you, your partner, your kids, your church, whatever. This question is directly geared towards you. So it takes them a moment, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll ask, once they're on the table and the colonic is going, about 10 minutes later, if there's no release and there's a lot of resistance, unconsciously, there's a lot of resistance, I'll ask, Queen, love, what are you holding on to? And almost always the next question that comes up is, well, in regards to what? And my response is, whatever resonates with you emotionally, physically, and spiritually. What pops up for you? And then that's when the tears start flowing. Literally, I kid you not. It's like I can pinpoint when they are going to start crying. Because we are emotionally overwhelmed, and nobody in the course of our day asks, sis, how you really doing?
Yeah, seriously.
Really, why are you holding on to all this stuff?
Or do we check in with ourselves and ask ourselves that? How are we doing? How am I doing? How do I really feel? So here we are talking about hydrotherapy, and I'm sure listeners probably didn't even know we were going to take it there, but it's deeper than a colonic. Like it's deeper than that. Could you share just how colon hydrotherapy really connects Black women to just their mind, their body, their spirit as a whole?
Yes, definitely. So I can't speak for all practitioners, but the way that I administer my sessions and have connected it to spirit was my own personal journey. So I just want to put a disclaimer out there that not all colon therapists think the way that I do or manifest their sessions the way that I do. My sessions are very intentional because of my personal spiritual work. I'm very intentional in everything I do. So colon hydrotherapy for me has always meant something deeper. When we start talking about water, we are talking about the element that everything on the planet needs to survive. Everything on the planet needs water if it's living. So when you start talking about the mechanics of water, when you start talking about the mechanics of frequency, when you start talking about the mechanics of all the elements that the body needs, the first thing that comes up is water.
Okay.
Right? When we look at our body as melanated women, without water, we age quick. We age really, really quick, and we start deteriorating very, very quickly. Right? In order for us to have this beautiful hue that melanin makes our skin, there needs to be moisture. There needs to be moisture, literally water.
Yeah.
So when we start talking about that, you're talking about honoring your spirit, honoring ma'at, honoring balance, all that good jazz. So now you start looking at, okay, so it's not just what I'm putting in my body, but it's what's also coming out. So now I'm very intentional about what I'm saying, because that's also an output.
Yeah.
Right? We start becoming very intentional after you've had like a first or 2 or 3 colonics, you start realizing that it's not just what I put on my plate versus what's coming out. It's what I say. It's what I taste. It's what I smell. It's what I see. It's what I hear. It's what I feel. That is the total sum of wellness. So colon hydrotherapy for me and for my clients, it starts to wake up all of the other dormant areas in your life that you really weren't paying attention to.
Yeah.
Because when you get on the table, you have to be very intentional. You have to feel. So even though I know when a client needs to release, I don't release the water until they let me know. Okay. So you have to participate in your wellness. It's not just me coming in and turning on the water. You have to tell me when you're ready, when you're ready to let go, when you're ready to exhale, when you want to breathe deep, because now you're checking in with your checks and balances. I'm not doing it. My job is just to make sure that you have a safe, clean space in which to do your work.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow, that is so beautiful. And you shared, that you can't speak for all practitioners. And I just love to hear how intentional you are. It's not just somebody coming in, getting their colonic and rolling out. Like, you're very intentional. It almost sounds like a hydrotherapeutic colonic. Like, they're getting a little therapy in there as well. Versus like, oh, I'm just going to come in for my colonic. I know it's going to take a while. I'll bring a book to read. I'll listen to music. And it's like, no, like, let's really spend this time checking in with yourself. Stop getting distracted. Don't pull out your phone and spend your whole colonic session on social media. Like, no, really sit in and check with yourself. And for those who aren't aware of the process of colon hydrotherapy, could you share with us what that process looks like? You mentioned there being a table and this release of water. Like, what can one expect walking into an appointment?
Definitely. It's very simple. A lot of times clients will come in and they'll look at me like a deer caught in the headlights, like, oh, what's going on? I'm like, calm down. It's totally cool. Like, I can make you a cup of tea while we talk about your consultation. So it's really easy and gentle. But in a nutshell, we go into my office first, and then we go over the consultation, intake forms. I make sure that there are no red flags or even yellow flags, and everything checks out pretty good. Then we retreat back into the treatment room. And in the treatment room, there is a massage table set up. And then my colonic unit is on the wall. And then there is a chair and some other areas where you can completely undress. I always let clients know that if you have on socks, feel free to leave them on, because when the body is detoxing, healing starts from the feet up. Most of the time, people's feet will get cold. I don't have additional socks just to give. I wish I did, but I'm not rolling like that yet. So I always tell people to bring some socks. You get completely undressed. I give you a medical gown that's open to the back. And then they lay down on a heated bed. So the heat calms the nervous system down. So remember that everything is intentional. And clients get on the table, they're like, oh, the table is heated. Well, remember, the first system that's created is our nervous system. When you lay down on your back, you're laying down on your spine. So I want to activate that right now. I want to bring peace to the body immediately. And that's what heat does for most people, unless you're in menopause and you have hot flashes.
Okay. So for those listening, they're coming in and they're laying down on their back. So some people think, oh, I have to like lay on my stomach with my butt up. That's not what it is. You're laying on your back.
I often open the door and there is an invitation with a booty up to the ceiling. And I gently close the door back and say, thank you, but no thank you. Let's roll you back over onto your back. How about that? So they're on their back with the medical gown on and their warm, fuzzy socks. I do drape a towel over their thighs, their midsection. So you're covered throughout the entire session. I roll you over onto your left side, and then I start with a spinal massage with a couple of different oils geared towards calming the nervous system down. So I start them off with a massage, and I massage the back of the neck, the whole entire back, the spine, and then the sides of the hips to open up the platforms, right? Open up the chakras. And then once I do that, I start with the insertion. I always let the client know that I'm getting ready to insert. I insert the speculum, link the tubes up, and then I roll them back over on their back.
What's the speculum? For those that are like, huh, you're putting what in the where?
Right.
What's the speculum? What's the size, the length,
Right,
all of
right,
that good
right.
stuff.
Exactly. So the length is the length of your rectum. So most people's rectum is about 2 to 4 inches long, depending on race.
Okay.
So individuals of Asian demographics, they have the shorter rectum. And then women who are of color tend to have a longer rectum. Okay, if that makes sense. So it just depends. The speculum is the part of the equipment that is inserted into the rectum. And that's how the waste flows out of your body into the waistline, into my tube, and then down into the sewer line and washes away.
Okay. So for those listening, like it's not a thick piece of, it's not width-wise, it's not like this huge thing. Like it's a tube.
It's a little bit smaller than your rectum. So it doesn't overpower your rectum, if that's what I'm saying.
So maybe like the size of your finger, maybe? The width of your finger?
Yes.
About the width of your finger. Okay. Yes. Just to kind of give people visuals. So about the width of your finger, maybe around 4 inches or so. Like that's what we're working with here. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, and you do the insertion for them.
I ask.
Okay.
If it's okay. Or if they want to do it themselves. So legally, we are not doctors. Colon hydrotherapists cannot insert anything into a person's body without their consent. Okay. However, if you booked an appointment and you signed the documents, you are giving me consent. But I still verbally say, would you like to do the insertion? I can guide your hand if you want, or you can give me complete permission to do it for you.
Okay.
99.9% of people are like, that's why I'm here for you to do it. I don't want to do it. You can do it. Right. Every now and then I'll have one person or two people that'll say, no, I'll do it.
Okay.
But it's rare. Yeah.
All right. So that goes in and you plug up your tube in the machine and then they go back over to their back.
Yes. So I roll you back over onto your back and your knees can be bent while you're on your back, or I can put cushions underneath your knees so you can extend your legs out. So you're totally comfortable throughout the entire time. I do give you crystals to hold on to. So that's very intentional. Yeah. The crystals that I give clients to hold on to are grounding crystals to keep them grounded and rooted. And it also serves as a stress reliever. So if they feel stress, they can hold on to it, right? And so we start the flow of water very easy and very gentle. And then I explain to clients that they're going to feel pressure as if they need to have a bowel movement. Now, this is going to feel very different because you are on your back. I am standing at your side, massaging your belly, and then the lights are dim. So it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Right? In the beginning, it's a little weird. And then we got music going. So it's not necessarily a date, but it's a little weird. So once they feel the pressure, they let me know and I turn the water off. And then that's when the body will start to let go of undigested foods, fecal matter, gas, air, etc. So we do that process of filling you up with water very easy and gentle, and then letting everything go very easy and gentle over a 30, 45-minute period, give it take a couple of minutes here and there.
Okay.
And after that, I roll them back over onto their side. I remove the speculum. Then they go to the restroom to empty any residual waste or empty their bladder into the toilet. They come back into my treatment room. I take their measurements, have them stay on the scale. The scale will give me their metabolic age, how much water they have in their body, their true weight, and a couple additional information like visceral fat. They get dressed. And then they come back into my office. We go over all of the body composition from standing on the scale, and then anything that I notice during the colonic session.
Okay.
I may recommend, for this particular time, for the next, let's say 3 weeks, you should be taking A, B, and C herbs to help clear out waste like mucus that is just abundant in the body.
Okay.
Then we'll revisit after about 3 weeks.
Okay. Okay.
Just as an example.
Yeah. So could you share any experiences of women that you work with, Black women that you work with, who consistently come in for colon hydrotherapy, who are consistently and actively taking care of their colon? Like, what is some feedback that you get from them? What benefits do they claim to have received?
Oh, definitely. I have to say, I'll be very honest with you. In the 13 years I've been in business, I may have had maybe a handful of clients that I probably should have never touched.
Okay.
Due to attitude, and they're just sour people. But I have some amazing clients that come through the doors, and I'm so grateful for that. So I just want to point that out first.
Yeah.
But some of the responses that I've gotten from clients keeping a consistent, regular self-care routine that includes colon hydrotherapy is their attitude has softened to the point where they are loving themselves more.
Okay.
So it's not their attitude towards other people, it's their attitude towards themselves. So there's no more or less resentment, less frustration with themselves. They start eating better. In order for you to eat better, you have to actually like yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
seriously.
Yeah, they start going to like the Korean spas. Like, I'm huge on like, go to the Korean spa, get a body scrub. And so they start getting over their hangups over their body. So if anybody knows about Korean spas or spas in general, that you're naked in it. Most Black women have issues with their body. But once you start cleansing and you start letting go of all that external waste, your body starts realigning itself and reshifting itself and reshaping itself. So now you have a totally different body that you're moving in and with and through. So now you don't mind going to show it off. Not really show it off, but you know, when you go to a Korean spa, you're not showing your body off. But there's no hangups about that. They are loving the fact that their abdominal area is not like they're 9 months pregnant. So they understand, like, oh my God, they're being educated about, if I eat this, then this happens. So when they are educating themselves, the way that they feed their family shifts. So now their relationship with their children and their partners change.
Yeah.
Just by getting a glimpse.
Yeah. And what I hear you saying is it's more than just the release of fecal matter. Like, I hear that it's an energetic release. And I'm just in my head, like closing my eyes, imagining, you know, the chakra areas that's tied to your colon. And when you've released, like, let's talk about energy blockage, but then when you also have fecal blockage there too, you know, to release that, like, you're releasing, it's like a double blockage release.
Yeah.
So when you talked about walking into that Korean spa and, you know, walking in naked and confident, like, that's tied to your chakra that's right there with that colon. So when that thing is released, it's like, well, here I am coming to get my body scrub. I'm loving me. Like, I'm not shy. I'm confident. I'm here to get a service because I've released the energy from that area as well.
Yeah. So the major chakras, and you're absolutely right. The three major chakras that are almost, well, they are directly affected is your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and then your heart chakra. Those are the first three chakras that are affected with colon hydrotherapy out the gate. Out the gate.
Yeah.
Which is the main chakras that are closed down for Black women. Majority, not majority, but a good amount, unfortunately, of Black women have had some type of experience that was not a healthy experience with our womb space. And that could have been a miscarriage, it could have been an abortion, it could have been any type of trauma with forced entry or rape, or being chastised for having their menstrual cycle too early. Like, that's also trauma. Majority of Black women that I talk to have had one of those situations happen to them, and as an adult, it is still affecting them.
Absolutely.
A lot of women come in and they're unable to get pregnant. There are blockages in your root and sacral chakra, right? And then we have all this weight and girth around our midsection. That is trauma to your sacral chakra. Then because you've experienced all this stuff, your heart chakra starts to close. Because you're no longer wanting to put yourself out there because you've been hurt so many times.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody checking for us out there in the world.
Yeah.
We are the only ones checking for each other if we do that. Right?
This is such a deep conversation. I don't think people are aware like how deep your colon is. Like when people hear colon, they're like, oh, you know, bowels, fecal, that stuff. Like, no, it's deeper than that. It's more than that, you know? And as Black women, again, we have to be more in tune. I feel like I've been saying this a lot lately. Like we're just so busy and we're moving and, you know, we feel things within our body and we just either ignore it or take a quick Tylenol and we just keep going and going and we push through. But to take a moment to dedicate 45 minutes to an hour just to go in for a colonic and release, let that shit go. Literally. Like let it go.
Literally.
Free yourself of that, you know, on a physical matter, you know, energetically, like just releasing that, you know. And I'm so grateful for you. And I thank you for the intentional work that you do. It's more to you, it feels like, than a business. Like, oh, I just offer this service. You're very intentional. You seem to be very patient and in tune with your clients. And I like that you challenge your clients for it to be more than just a colon hydrotherapy session for them. Like the questions that you ask, the massages that you give, you giving them crystals. Like this is a very intentional appointment. They're not just running in to get this quick fix and then they're jetting out back to the grocery store, back to these responsibilities. This is really a self-care appointment. So I thank you for your model and the way that you have facilitated your appointments. I think that is so beautiful and so needed for Black women, to have another Black woman in the room with us that cares for us and wants us to be healthy. I've personally received a colon hydrotherapy session, and that was not my experience. It was, here's what it is, this where it go, I'm gonna step out, I'm gonna come back, all right, here's the machine, boom, bye. And it's like, oh, guess I'll sit here and read my book. But the way that you are intentional about making this a real experience is
that's
beautiful.
What we used to do, you know, before our story became we were slaves. Like that's not our story. Our story prior to that was everything had intention. We just didn't do things just to be doing it. Like pyramids are positioned in a certain manner for a certain reason to connect with the cosmos. That was an intentional placement. You know, when we put the hieroglyphs in a certain space, they're written in a certain way to create a certain intention. Everything that we do is ritual because we're ritualistic people. Regardless if you are a Christian, a Moor, it doesn't matter. We are intentional beings and we've gotten away from that. We are slowly, with businesses like mine and yours, we're bringing that practice back into our everyday lives. So my job, without a shadow of a doubt, is to be the beat keeper, the drum keeper, right? I'm the heartbeat keeper. I'm the person who keeps the space. So whenever you need to come back and get filled up, this is where I'm going to be. I'm keeping the drum going. So you just dial into the rhythm, you get filled up, and then you go back to your life.
I love it. Mo, thank you so much. This is, I'm looking at the time. I'm like, this is such a topic I could keep going on and on and on about. Oh my goodness. So I definitely want you guys, please check out Mo of Moya Body Care. Oh my gosh. The work that she is doing, you guys, is amazing. And she does a lot more than just colon hydrotherapy. So make sure you guys check her out to see all of the other beautiful work that she's doing, all of her offerings, guys. Thank you so much, Mo, for this conversation with just educating and enlightening us about the deeper perspective of our colon and our colon health.
You're welcome. You are
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Afro Chi podcast. Be sure to visit our website at afroqi.com and on all social media platforms at the Afro QI. Subscribe to this podcast now so you never miss a show.